Frank Seravalli joins us now, the president of hockey content at Daily Faceoff. Frank, thank you so much for taking the time, and thank you for joining us.
Is Harm half miling today? What's going on? How come I made it back from Nashville and Harm didn't?
You know, I thought about this when you texted me today and said, hey, do you need me on your show today? Where the hell's Harm? I also thought Harmon had a direct flight back. So is he just napping?
Sunday night on Broadway.
There is no direct flight that I know of.
No,
there's one today.
Yeah, he found one.
Oh, he found
There's
one.
one
So
on. There's one on Monday.
back?
There's one on Monday afternoon.
I went all the way through Denver at 6 a.m.
Wow. So
Yeah.
when was the last time you slept?
I slept 4 hours last night.
Hey, it's the playoffs.
It's the playoffs, man. This is what you do.
It's not what I do.
We used to have questionable goaltending today. Frank, good to see you, my friend. Always.
How you doing,
Always
bud?
pleasure to be in the same room.
Yeah.
Saw you writing on Quinn Hughes. What do we know? I mean, it's no secret that there's obviously stuff going on, and you saw the shots of him on the bench, doubled over, and Nashville clearly target him. So what do we know about the Canucks captain?
Oh man, he's taking a beating this series, and I don't know if it's just this series or did he enter with something. It's pretty clear to me that in some way Quinn Hughes is physically compromised. That sequence, or I guess those couple sequences that produce that comeback in the third period, should and will go down as the stuff of legend, given what I think he's dealing with. No one's going to confirm anything at this time of year. The Canucks all season long haven't made excuses on injuries. But when you look at his, first off, eye test, I mean, you guys are used to Quinn Hughes dominating and controlling play. That hasn't happened this series. When you look at his deployment and his minutes being down 1.5 minutes off of his season average, what star player captain gets to the Stanley Cup playoffs and plays fewer minutes? And then if you look at some of his underlying stats and the data, that would indicate that there's at least something going on. How significant, how serious remains to be seen. But the point of the story was to say the Canucks can do themselves some huge favors by knocking off the Nashville Predators in Game 5 to get some rest for everyone, to avoid, as JT Miller said, 8.5 hours of additional flying, and to better position yourselves to have a chance to beat the Edmonton Oilers in round 2.
Who should they start tomorrow, Frank?
I would start Silovs.
There you go.
I would want 1,000% certainty that Casey DeSmith is 100+% to go. And I don't know, for someone that was just missing a game, if he could possibly guarantee that. And Silovs was good, so it just buys you more time, right? In an odd way, and I'm not advocating for this, but you could actually make the case, given what's going on, 3-1 lead, that maybe Quinn Hughes should sit.
Irf.
I mean, no, look,
Is that absolutely preposterous?
No, it's not. It's just that we were having the same debate, and I'm totally on your side.
But to your point, ending it early, like, why you don't have your best player, or one of your best players? I know he's going through something, but why would you not want to have your best team out there on the ice, giving you your best chance to win, to try and end this one early?
Fair question.
I agree.
Here's the scariest part for the Nashville Predators. The Canucks haven't really played a good game yet.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So if you are 4 games in and you have a 3-1 lead, you only need 1. Can you scratch and claw it out on home ice? They're facing some pretty long odds to make it back in the series, Nashville is. Is there any chance that any part of their team rolls over?
How much does Noah Juleson make you if you take out Quinn Hughes? Right, you know what I mean? Like, I get it, scratch and claw your way out, but I think that you kind of gotta, I don't know. I mean,
we're obviously dealing with negative return, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think the goaltending one is the one where you can almost say that there's really matter if the team plays well in front of you, but
well, there's some in the Canucks organization that view Silovs as a coin flip between him and DeSmith. anyway.
There you go.
It's quads. You just
It's
No,
not,
not in the
it's
organization.
not quads. That's legitimately how they view it, that they think they're really close. And given that DeSmith was injured, yeah, he played well in game 3, but they weren't losing anything. In fact, they would lose something if they put DeSmith in, risking further injury and risking compromising game 4, that it made sense to go with Silovs.
How did we get into this again, Irv? I
It's
apologize.
your fault.
It is my fault.
You wrote in our little chat here. Someone did ask Frank about the goalies.
That was Grady. Grady stirred the pot.
Whoever did, and someone got excited
And
about
now
it. You asked.
there's a poll in the YouTube live chat asking people who should start. And Frank, let's
You could always go back to DeSmith.
that's what I said. But
Yeah, but
Irv
you're
brought up a
already
really good point that you're running the risk of pushing a series that doesn't need to go to 6 games to pushing it to 6 games if you're not going with your best guy.
That may happen
saying,
even if you go with him.
So I'm
True.
just saying, I think the line between DeSmith and Silovs is very close. And if I'm going by vibes, which I often am, I'm going with Silovs. That's even, like I'm talking if DeSmith is
I think that's
100%
fair.
healthy. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that assessment.
Okay, where do you wanna go from here?
There's a. I don't think DeSmith was nervous, but there was certainly a vibe and energy that Silovs has. Whether it was chirping the fans, the celebration, like he just had a lot going on in game 4. It seemed like he kind of reveled in that environment.
Well, I think it's just also the year that he's had. Right?
Yeah.
I think that helps a lot, Frank. I mean, look, the guy wins Latvia's first ever medal. He's the MVP of the tournament. I mean, by quad standard, vibes are pretty high for Arturs Silovs, to be completely honest. So, yeah, I mean, you're riding high on confidence. And I think that's one of the reasons why you're comfortable going with him that game. I think it changes a little bit now that you're at home, but we'll see what happens. I mean,
why does it change at home? This is the guy who just beat DeSmith in that bronze medal game.
I know. Well, that's another thing, which is wild to add to this as well. I just think you're going to go with the guy that is Thatcher Demko's backup, and it's Casey DeSmith. Is a guy that you brought here for these positions and to go and do it.
But who won the job technically? I guess technically DeSmith did because he retained it.
I'm gonna
But who
agree with-
outplayed who in the month of March?
That was Silovs.
Okay, so
I'm gonna agree with Irv to some extent though, because there's also the factor that I'm starting to think about a little more,
But
Frank.
it's not the month of March. It's one hockey game, right? I mean, you look
so
at the
who gives you
outplaying-
the better chance to win?
That's exactly what it is, and that's the conversation that they're going to have with Ian Clark and Rick
Well, it's
talking.
the one they're having right now this afternoon because that's when they tell their goalies.
It's a toss up. I lean towards Silovs, but I will say this because I will say this to Irv's counterpoint to my original point because I'm thinking about it a little bit more. The idea that you're going to go back to Silovs tomorrow and, okay, well, if he loses DeSmith back in, what kind of message is that sending to Casey DeSmith? If he's 100% healthy and you say, yeah, you know what? We're going to go with this kid over you. And then you got to throw DeSmith in for game 6. And then it's, okay, Casey, go win us this series.
I don't think it sends any message. I get what you're saying, and it's a fair question to ask, but you were injured. We need to have someone that's fully healthy. We're going with our guy, and if we need you, we'll use you. But in the meantime, this is it.
Yeah, but it was I don't know. We can keep getting into this back and forth. We spent 40 minutes on the goaltending
The
situation. I think
never-ending
Frank wants to
debate.
talk about more than the Canucks goaltending situation, especially with all the stuff that's going around this team. You went to both games. Obviously, you've been covering this series a lot, and we've talked
all
about
4 games.
Yeah, all 4 games. Elias Pettersson. What have you seen? What haven't you seen? I know it's basically been since the All-Star break, kind of for him, with his game.
Well, you know what I haven't seen? A shot attempt on goal,
Yeah.
and a shot attempt period in game 4. I mean, the oddest part for me of game 4 was when he was jacked up by Jeremy Lauzon in that celebration.
Yep.
His best shifts of the entire series occurred after that. He was like suddenly engaged. It was like someone woke him up. It was almost like he was in straight up no man's land at the time of that collision, the accidental on purpose collision. I don't have an explanation for it. Is he hurt? Is he not? No one has whispered to me, oh, this is someone that's dealing with something. like they have with other players, it feels to me like he's in his own head, but I don't have any confirmation. And, even if you're hurt, right? There's an engagement factor. There's that part of the game that I'm not getting from him. I'm not seeing. Is another really scary part for the Preds, right? Like, what if
he wakes up?
Pettersson wakes up? What if Quinn Hughes has a monster game? What if there's a million what ifs? What if, like, by the way, like, we could go up and down the roster. Like, is Ilya Mikheyev going to do something this series?
No.
He hasn't done anything all year. So.
Yeah.
But I'm just, these guys have the potential to do something. At some point, you think that they're going to.
Here's something that I want to talk about with the whole Pettersson thing, because I think it's interesting you bring up the Lozon thing. When he got hit, I didn't think he bounced back. Like, I don't think he had that level of, okay, I'm going to take it to you, because this is what we have seen for years. And Irf knows this. We've seen this for years in Vancouver. When Elias Pettersson gets roughed up, when an opponent does something he doesn't like, Pettersson takes over. Like, Pettersson's done this many times before.
So you
where
don't
he
think
has
you saw it, is what you're saying?
No, I don't think I saw it, and I was waiting to see it. And I was saying in past years, we would go see Elias Pettersson go snipe a goal, stare down the bench after he does it.
I thought we saw it till the end of the second period, and then the third period, I don't think we saw him again.
No, he just appeared in the third period. Yeah, I agree with Frank. I think that he was good. He did wake up a little bit. The shot of Mike Yeo talking to him after after that kind of happened, and you could tell that he was obviously a little pissed off at the situation and kind of what happened there.
That you just got straight up plastered on the boards in front of their entire team. And
also, no one did anything about it.
Yeah, no one did anything, and he didn't do anything, and he just kind of like sheepishly skated back to the bench, adjusting his helmet. Like, I don't know about you guys, and I, obviously I don't have a storied hockey career or anything, but even in beer league, if someone's jacking me up during a celebration, that's
swinging.
Yes, 100%
swinging.
Let alone in a Stanley Cup playoff game in front of 18,000 people.
And your parents. His parents were in the stands. Where the hell do we go from here, guys? Should we just go to anyone else? You want to get to listener questions?
Just end the show and have a beer.
No, we're going to get to anyone else. We're going to get to anyone else.
I'm just looking at this fridge over here.
Canucks Conversation is live Monday through Friday, every weekday at 2 p.m. over on the Canucks Army YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and interact in the YouTube live chat every day with us, folks.